Constructivism is the theory that says learners construct knowledge rather than just passively take in information. This is Ivan Leadogales, and we will talk more about the theory of constructivism. But first, let me introduce to you to him. Guess who? Jerome Simon Bronner, American psychologist and the proponent of constructivism theory. And another meaning of constructivism is it is an approach to learning that holds that people actively construct or make own knowledge, and that reality is determined by the process of the learner. So basically, the learners here in this theory are more innovative and creative to the knowledge that they gained previously or in the present. As people experience the world and reflect upon those experiences, they build on their own representations and incorporate new information into their pre-existing knowledge, which is also known as schemas. Let me also introduce to you to the principles of constructivism. Number 1, learning is an active process. Information may be passively received, but understanding cannot be, for it must come from making meaningful connection between prior and new knowledge and the process involved in the learning. Number 2, all knowledge is socially constructed. Learning is a social activity. It is something we do together in interaction with each other rather than an abstract concept. To give you an example, the group activities, group quizzes, or even a group research, or any activity that requires the participation of the teacher and the learners with their colleagues is actually one of the purpose of implementing K-12 here in our country, for our students or learners to be more creative, innovative, knows how to build rapport and to connect with each other. Thus, all teaching and learning is a matter of sharing and negotiating socially constituted knowledge. The third principle, all knowledge is personal. This means that the same lesson, teaching or activity may result in different learning by a pupil as their subject and their interpretation differ. Number 4, learning exists in mind. As they perceive each new experience, learners will continually update their own mental models to reflect the new information and will therefore construct their own interpretation of a reality. Number 5, and the last principle, constructivist approaches to teaching. Constructivist learning theory underpins a variety of student-centered teaching methods and techniques, which contrast with traditional education, whereby knowledge is simply passively transmitted by a teacher to students, which later on I will also differentiate the difference between the traditional classroom and the constructivist classroom. So now let's differentiate traditional classroom and constructivist classroom. Traditional classroom strict adherence into the fixed curriculum and highly valued. So basically, teachers in this classroom are merely using the given or the lesson plan that they have, while in constructivist classroom, pursuit of student question and interest is valued. So the voice of the students, their knowledge also will be heard, or their idea in the particular topic is also heard, and if they have question, they'll be raising their hands and the teacher will answer. So there's really an interaction between the two. And in traditional classroom, learning is based on repetition, while in constructivist classroom, learning is interactive, building on what the student already knows. So it's really just adding information to the current knowledge that the students have in their, or what was discussed previously. And so basically, traditional classroom is teacher-centered and the constructivist is student-centered. And teachers in the traditional classroom disseminate information to students, and students are the recipient. So it is just a passive learning. While in constructivist classroom, teachers have dialogue with students, helping students construct their own knowledge. So it is called active learning. And teachers' role in traditional classroom is to disseminate rooted in authority, while in constructivist, teacher's role is interactive, rooted in negotiation. And lastly, traditional classroom, student works primarily alone. It is competitive. And in constructivist classroom, students work primarily in groups or cooperative. So those are the differences between traditional classroom and the constructivist classroom. This type of learning is really useful in my future classroom, for I can let my students pick up and share their knowledge and thought. Active learning can make the class lively and more social. I find this theory fit to my way of learning. And I can say that it will be effective, for I myself is a product of constructivist classroom. Again, this is Ivan Lieto Gales. Thank you so much for listening, and you all have a wonderful day.